And our last story today is from West African nation of Ivory Coast. The world's largest cocoa producer will hold presidential elections on Saturday. And the vote will decide whether 83-year-old President Alassane Ouattara remains in power or if the country turns to new leadership. On Thursday, thousands of supporters gathered for President Alassane Ouattara's final rally. The 83-year-old leader told the crowd that a vote for him was a vote for peace, stability, and development.
On Saturday, October 25th, vote in large numbers, because you will be voting for peace, stability, development, and solidarity. Vote together for peace.
Supporters danced, sang, and waved flags as campaign rallies came to an end across the Ivory Coast. Music and celebration filled the streets, but beneath the energy were concerns about the nation's political future. The election pits Ouattara against four challengers, including the former First Lady Simone Gbagbo and the businessman Jean-Louis Billon, both of whom previously served as ministers. Now, two key figures, the former president Laurent Gbagbo and the ex-Credit Suisse CEO Tidjane Thiam, were barred from contesting. Their exclusion has drawn criticism from opposition groups who say that it has made the race heavily tilted in Ouattara's favor. While Ouattara is credited by some for bringing economic growth after the 2010 civil war, his decision to run again has faced backlash. Critics see his fourth-term bid as a challenge to democratic principles, even though it is permitted under the Constitution. Protests against his candidacy have been met with a crackdown, with over 700 demonstrators arrested and 50 sentenced earlier this month. Despite the backlash, supporters of the ruling party say only Ouattara can maintain stability.
Those who can maintain stability in Ivory Coast are the RHDP. He who can stabilize the Ivory Coast is the President, Alassane Ouattara. Even they know.
The election comes as Ivorians grapple with rising living costs, unemployment, and frustration over inequality. Opposition candidates have campaigned on education, job creation, and social justice, arguing that growth has not benefited the poor.
When you look at the economy of Côte d'Ivoire, 95% of it is owned by foreign investors. Ivorians are not involved in their own economy. That's why things are heating up for us. We are forced to turn to the state, if only to benefit from small things. And turning to the state, at least the current regime, does not do us any favors at any social level. That's why we complain, and that's why we want regime change. But we want peaceful change.
Alongside the economy, foreign policy has become a key campaign issue. Ivory Coast has taken a hard line against the military governments in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Countries now allied under the alliance of Sahel states and growing closer to Russia. Those regimes accuse Ouattara of siding with France, the former colonial power, which his government denies, saying it supports democratic governance in the region. Ivory Coast this year also ousted French troops. Some opposition candidates have called for diversifying partnerships with Russia and China. Security forces have been deployed across major cities to prevent unrest. And many still remember the violence after the 2010 election, when more than 3,000 people were killed. Some families have already left Abidjan ahead of Saturday's vote, fearing possible clashes. Despite the tension, others remain hopeful that the election will be peaceful. Ivory Coast now faces a crucial test between continuity and change. Supporters of President Ouattara say that stability must be preserved, while critics warn that prolonged rule could erode trust in democracy. The results of Saturday's vote will determine whether Africa's top cocoa exporter stays the course or turns toward a new political chapter.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point. Well, we've got all three just for you. This is First Post Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.